Welcome to I Asked, Therefore I Am Season 3. How are urban farmers changing the world? When I talk to people about urban farming, there's a lot of misconceptions and a lot of mystery about this beautiful industry. So, in this season 3, we are going to find the answers about urban farming. What is urban farming? What is it really? What's the potential of urban farming? What is happening these days in urban farming? What is the strategy of this movement, or how far in this strategy are we? So we are going to talk to many people involved in the urban farming movement, from the entrepreneurs to the researchers and policymakers, from the social vegetable garden heroes to the vertical farming operators. My name is Zjef and Acker. Welcome to I Asked, Therefore I Am, Season 3. How are urban farmers changing the world? Welcome to the very first episode of the third season of I Asked, Therefore I Am, with the amazing title, How are urban farmers changing the world? In this episode, we're going to lay the groundwork for the rest of the season. And for this groundwork, we have invited a very special person. Also a very special person because this is the very first video interview ever. So we invited a handsome person too.
I just did a big workout because I wanted to look really pumped on the video. Yeah, you asked me to, huh? Yeah.
I asked you to, yes, for sure. Yeah. The person you're hearing is Koenraad Depauw from Strategies and Leaders.
Yeah.
And I already have like the first big multiple choice question for you. Koenraad, why do you think I invited you? And it's important, everybody at home also think about why I invited Koenraad here. There's 5 options. The first option is Koenraad founded Strategies and Leaders. It's a consulting organization for socio-ecological organizations. Basically, he's consulting organizations that are making this world a better place. First option. Mm. Second option is Strategies and Leaders is not just a company. It's a co-worker, co-owned company.
So it's a cooperative.
Cooperative, yeah. The third option is you live in a co-housing with 60 people.
Yeah, with 32 children also, 32. Which I think around 20 of them are in their puberty. So that's a lot of hormones going through the house and stuff. Yeah, it's a really interesting experiment.
It's a brave choice too.
Yeah, we didn't foresee that when we started. Yeah. Yeah, so we can like do a group purchase on the pill, if you know. Yeah.
Oh my God. You can really do that.
Yeah, you can. No, we don't do that. But maybe we should. I think we should start thinking about it. Yeah. But I live together with a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a smart move. The fourth option is you can bench press 90 kilograms.
Yeah,
and I think you will still go up.
I think, yeah. I'm bulking now, so my plan is to do 100 before the next Easter. Yeah.
Okay. The fifth option is all of the above. So why do you think I invited you here? One of the 5.
I'm gonna.
You have to answer.
I think because I'm a really pain in the ass, and I try to do things differently. I've done, and I think I'm sometimes successful in doing things differently. Like I think the way I work and the way I live is quite disruptive, and that's because I asked myself a lot of difficult questions. Are you gonna just buy the house and do the house, children, happy family thing, or are you gonna do the job thing that everybody is doing, or are you gonna do it differently? And I think urban farming is about asking difficult questions and doing things really different. I think, and maybe is everybody saying to you, that's a stupid idea. A lot of people never.
Everybody loves urban farming.
Yeah. So I think it's a lot of people in my life told me that what I was trying to do is will not work and is really stupid, will not have an impact, but I showed them different ways. Yeah.
So basically, that's all of the above.
Yeah, I'm not gonna ask you. Not gonna fit into your quizzes, I think.
Yeah, well, you're fitting. You're fitting. Well, that's actually the right answer. All of the above, because, in my opinion, you're like walking the talk. You're not just starting a company to consult sustainable or socio-ecological companies or organizations. You're actually also doing it yourself, like sharing the company, sharing your co-housing, also living the healthy life, of course. And for me, that's part of the reason. No, not part of the reason. That's actually what we need to do in this world to become more sustainable as a society, and not just have the Elon Musks or the very rich people give us the solutions, but actually come up with solutions together, because it's the future of also international politics, for example. But also international politics starts with living together with 60 people in a co-housing, for example, or sharing your company. Like one of the, Lokaal here in Ghent, the restaurant, Arno also started this on his own, and then all of a sudden shared it with his co-workers.
Yeah.
Like now this is our company instead of just my company. And I like that. Why do you like the co thing so much?
It's really painful, the co thing.
It's
I like pain, I think. Yeah, I think that's if we look deep into my soul, I think that's all about it. I'll explain you. So this is the third time I started a company, and this is the third time in 3 years we are doing a revenue of between 1 and 2 million euro. It's nice. So that's is a lot of energy going through a lot of energy going to scale up the system. So we are now at 30 people working for the company, and we're going to 100, 200 now, next years. And I shared the company. There was a moment when I thought I'm not going to share this third company also, because when I don't share it, I'm going to get rich, really rich.
Yeah.
If you know something about companies, if you scale from 0 to 2 million in a few years, your shares are really, I can buy
valuable.
I can buy a Ferrari now with my shares. But it's not true, because I share them with all my coworkers. So together we can buy a Ferrari, but I don't want a Ferrari. So there was a moment that I shared all my ideas and the company, and I felt, and it hurted to share that, because I knew that was really good for the company, but in the end I wasn't gonna get rich, and that's what you're supposed to do. Really, I'm not poor, but I'm also how do you call it? I'm also influenced by the stereotype of an entrepreneur getting personally really rich by doing his thing. So I did 3 times. I did a scale up, and I didn't decide to get personally rich, but I got really impactful companies, and that's. I like this more than being having a Ferrari. Yeah.
And it does keep you hungry, no?
Does it keep you hungry?
Like hungry to create more impact, or to maybe get a bit more rich, because you share your gains, basically, but you still get some gains.
Yeah, I get a lot of gains, but they are, and I have a really good salary, but I get really rich on a personal level, because if now the company is owned with the company is owned by 9 people. We started with 6 owners, now 9, and I think in the end of next year there will be 15. But we work through a system called deep democracy. That means I'm not the CEO. We decide together how to do our sales, how to do our marketing. We also have also 4 employees now, so we decide a lot of stuff together. That means that different than a lot of my fellow company owners. So I worked a lot together with Aurélie, and Aurélie is really all about intuition. So I'm really all about strategy, rational, money, and she's all about feelings. And if you have to take together a decision about what will we do with this company, that's really it's a confrontation of different personalities, and it's a difficult discussion. But in the end, I get richer as a person.
Yeah, it's the perfect balance of yin and yang, basically. At the company.
That's true. Yeah, that's what we aimed at, and I think we worked it out. Yeah.
I like that. Well, that's why you're here.
Yeah.
Because going over to urban farming, I've been working a lot in urban farming movement, a lot about the code thing also. I've been worked in a couple of network organizations, local, in Ghent Urban Farming, for example, Groeinnest VZW, but also internationally with the Association for Vertical Farming when it was still the biggest. I have to watch out what I say here. And I also started my own urban farm. And then I do urban farming education online. So I have some experience in urban farming, but like I said in the pre-talk, I know a lot, but I don't know a lot because I know a lot. You know, what was it Socrates that said something like that?
I think he was Greek. Yeah,
he was a Greek philosopher. Yeah. But basically, I have big ideas and visions for urban farming, but there's a lot of holes in my knowledge. So you and your questions about urban farming are going to lay the groundwork of for all the questions I have to ask to the real specialists, like the specialists in research, the specialist in policy, or the specialist entrepreneurs.
Yeah,
we're going to talk to all of them in the next 11, 12 episodes of 2022. We are 2022 right now. Koenraad, so you know.
Yes, yes, we are.
We are recording this in 2021.
In summer.
Okay, this is for the record. This is 15 December 2021. It's a beautiful day, very beautiful day.
Yep.
Anyway, but before we get started, Koenraad, what do you know about urban farming?
Not much. I think I saw you first time. I saw you first time. I think you were pitching at the Sociale Innovatiefabriek. And I thought about your mushrooms, and I thought, and then I heard about Roof Food, who's doing things on urban farmer. I think, or urban farming. I think.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the biggest question I had, and I still have, is why? Why are you doing this? I don't get it. I think it's nice, and it's like hip. I think, but I didn't see. I can ask you a lot of questions about the business model and pricing and impact and stuff. But why are people doing this? Because I think it's like my first reflection is, you're trying to do something really hard in a context that's not was not intended to do it in. Why are you making yourself like so difficult? Just buy some land.
I think many urban farmers watching are going to be like, yeah, it's true. But just like you, they like pain.
I think it's good for your Instagram. So,
that's true.
And maybe you can get hooked up with your story then. But so this provocative question, because of course you have a really good answer on it. But why are people doing this?
Well, your world is going to open.
I hope so. Yeah.
There's bias, right? People start doing something and then they find reasons to actually do it.
Yeah.
Urban farming, I don't know what was first though. I think people just started doing it, and then all these beautiful benefits came. But that's for later, though. Okay.
Yeah.
First, quiz time. What is urban farming? It's for everybody. There's two options in this multiple choice question quiz. What is the definition of urban farming? Oh, shit, you can already read the answer, Koenraad. Just don't read the answer.
I'm not going to read it. Yeah.
So the first option is urban farming is growing food in a city or heavily populated town or municipality. So very focused on growing food. And the second option, urban agriculture, is the practice of cultivating, processing, and distributing food in and around urban areas. So that urban areas, you can basically say that like in and around, that's the whole of Flanders, for example, is urban farming. So what do you think the definition is of urban farming?
I studied NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. So only based on your behavior, I think it's the second. It's the second
what gave
answer.
No.
Yeah, it's your tone of voice. It was different. Okay. Yeah, your tone. It's like you were more serious, and I think you hinted that's the answer. Am I right?
Not completely.
No.
Because the answer is
first one.
There's no. The answer is it depends who you ask. It's like some people.
But I think the second one is what you believe.
Not necessarily. It's what I'm active in. But in my opinion, the first one is closer to what urban farming is. And the second one is more about the whole food movement inside a city.
Yeah.
And it's like urban farming is highly connected to the food movement inside a city.
Yeah.
But logistics or processing of food, I would not say is necessarily urban farming. So
can you have the one without the other?
I think you can have one without the other, but they're stronger together. Basically.
Okay, yeah,
that's the idea. Yeah. So it was a trick question.
Is this like the whole time trick questions?
No, this is the first.
I can like have trick answers then.
You are doing very good at trick answers. Neuro-linguistic programming is not an answer.
Okay, yeah.
But it was a very good.
Yeah.
Like I like the.
But you're all about the movement, I think.
I am all about.
You're not like a typical. You didn't tell anything about mushrooms yet, and your passion for mushrooms. Do you have a passion for mushrooms?
I have a passion for mushrooms.
Yeah. But
they're
for other. Are they a vegetable? No, they're a fungus.
Well, I like vegetables too. I like insects too. I like growing fish too. But me and mushrooms, we have something special.
Okay.
Like,
you can make a lot of money on it.
Well, on the special mushrooms.
Yeah.
I'm not I'm not into those kind of mushrooms.
Okay.
Like when we had the mushroom farm, everybody was like, what type of mushrooms are you growing?
Yeah. That's
the special ones.
Yeah.
Shiitake, maitake, lion's mane.
I don't like mushrooms. Really, I don't like them.
You don't? You have not eaten the mushrooms I have eaten.
Yeah.
But mushrooms don't only have the benefits of food; they have a lot of other benefits. That's why I love them so much.
Okay.
They're without mushrooms, there would be no life on this earth. Maybe in the seas there would be life, but not on Earth.
Okay.
But there's other podcasts for that.
Yeah, but you're mushroom specialist. Yeah.
No, I wouldn't call myself a mushroom. I worked with mushroom specialist. I'm more of a I try to do biomimicry with mushrooms.
Yeah.
Like I apply the principles of mushrooms into strategy and network organizations. A mushroom is a network.
Yeah.
And if all organizations would apply mushroom network, mycelium kind of thing.
Yeah. My colleague Koen is also about biomimicry and using nature strategies in company strategies. Yeah.
They're good.
I've never seen him do it yet. So, see.
Yeah. It's interesting how mushrooms work, but I also have to say, biomimicry is also dangerous because nature is also brutal. Mm-hmm. Mushrooms are also brutal sometimes. They can kill entire forests too.
Yeah,
the biggest organism on this planet is a mushroom that kills an entire forest. It's 2,000 hectares big.
Small correction from the editing room. The biggest mushroom is not 2,000 hectares, it's 2,300 acres, so around 900 hectares or 1,665 football fields.
I thought it was humans.
Well, And combination, the 8 billion of us. Yes,
Okay.
We are the biggest organism.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to urban farming.
Yeah.
You asked me why. Let me give you reasons why.
Okay.
For me, urban farming, and for some and many other people, it's basically a way to create a more ecosystem society. Like if you look at our cities, if you look at our society, you just said it, humans, we're a big organism and we're using a lot of resources and we're creating a lot of waste. And our cities might be even like black boxes, like nodes in that, like there's a lot of resource coming into cities and a lot of waste leaving it.
Yeah.
And via urban farming and all its many benefits, I believe we can definitely help to create more ecosystem cities. And of course, what are those benefits of urban farming? The big whys. My most favorite one is called an AMI system. Now it's basically called HTEF, high-tech ecosystem farming, or AMI farming stands for aquaponics, mushroom, insects, where you create like this modules. Vertical farms, for example, are high-tech vertical farms. They're basically food inside robots.
Yep.
And if you combine multiple of these modules, you can create like an ecosystem where the input of one system is the output of another. So the waste of one system is the input of another. Aquaponics is a simple example of that. But if we create that in a big way, you can basically have a big building.
Yeah.
A big building.
Does it exist? Does it exist already? The big building
In my dreams.
yeah. Somewhere in the world? No.
No, but you, for example, a big missed opportunity is the Bir Khalifa. It's like it's a huge missed opportunity. The biggest building in the world. You know what's the tragic about this? And it's tragic about many things in Dubai, many buildings in Dubai. They are not connected to the sewage system. So you have an enormous amount of toilets in that building.
Yeah.
And the way they have to get out all the poo is by having a shit ton of trucks leaving the building and to put it to a facility. Like instead of
Then we couldn't use it for urban farming. No,
we like if they would have hired me to think about it, I would call up the AMI team because we have a team, AMI Farm Lab.
So everybody in Dubai.
Everybody in Dubai, yeah. If you really want to have an efficient building, and you don't need to be connected to the sewage system, but you can use all that waste to create so much more. First one is very simple. You just put a big biogas installation, but then with all the nutrients, you can create so much food, and you can have a big ecosystem. We will take up a big part of the building, though, but obviously, it's a way. I think Dubai is all about showing off your riches. You can show off all your riches by building an ecosystem inside the tallest building in the world.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I was thinking, probably it's not profitable, but you're right. Probably, because probably it's more cheap to hire a lot of bad-paid, low-paid workers getting all the shit out than making a part of your building used for aquaponics or other
waste management.
Waste management,
food production.
This probably is not profitable, but you're right. I think that kind of buildings are all only about showing your richness. So they could do it. So everybody listening in Dubai
or other rich people, there's possibility to show off how rich you are.
Yeah, it can be Korea, South Korea, I think.
There's a lot of billionaires in China too.
China.
The US also has some crypto billionaires maybe.
I know some. Yeah.
But another one is there's a lot of billionaires into space. Like these types of things are gonna make space travel and space colonization happen.
Okay.
This kind of waste facility, food production thing. But that's only one part of urban farming.
So we can do urban farming on the moon.
We can. It's moon farming then. Space farming.
First, build the city on the moon.
Yeah. I do actually. I already have 2 podcast conversations with people and space farming, into space farming, two PhD researchers on space farming.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting subject. Yeah. But that's
again, why?
why not?
That's a good answer.
It's actually, well, come on. I'm not going to defend space.
No,
space travel right now. It's about urban farming, because this is one end of the urban farming movement, which is high tech.
Yeah.
And the other one of urban farming is the low tech, is the vegetable gardens that are shared, or the rooftop farms with just some raised beds, and you growing food with multiple people. Like in the co-housing project, do you guys have a shared garden?
Yes.
So?
I'm going to tell you the story about our shared garden. So we have 3 shared gardens, and I think we started 3 years after we built the whole place, because it took a long time to build it, and we used our own hands, and everybody almost got divorced after the building, because it was so heavy for every marriage and every family. So after 3 years living there together, we thought, what are we going to do? We're going to do a shared garden. And in the end, we did it 2 years. It's like the permaculture. We did it 2 years, and then people started to have hobbies. Like I started to climb, and the other one started to have do like the pottery thing, and the shared garden ended up as a dumpster. Actually,
neglected.
Yeah, it was not really nice. But 2 years ago, 2 of my neighbors they asked, can we have the shared garden, not to be shared and not to be shared like labor and shared food, but we use it, and they are doing great things that now. I think it's really hard labor, and what you get from it is not that much. And in the thing, the has to be like has to, if you do co-housing or co-working or cooperative, the has to have a surplus and a really big gain. And I think in the shared garden it didn't have it. But I know other co-housing projects do have a really big shared garden, and then it works.
Yeah, it's the one of the benefits of urban farming is that social part. Yeah, I've been part of multiple vegetable garden communities too. Yeah, we have a new one in front of my house now. Yeah, and the big benefit is I now know my neighbors. Yeah, it's like before I saw them from afar, and now I'm actually talking to them. We're having parties, we're having meetings. Yeah, and but other vegetable gardens, community vegetable gardens, they had the same problems, like you said. Like there was no clear who is doing what. There was no really like sharing of responsibilities, or there were no clear responsibilities. I think many urban farming people listening who've done this community gardening thing feel the same pain. Yeah, but I do have to say it's possible.
Of course, it's possible, and I think it all starts with some people taking responsibility and sharing their knowledge and making. It's all about leadership, but shared leadership. But you have to have some people who are like making everybody enthusiastic and make it also a social thing. Problem in co-housing, there are too many social things. So if I have to choose between working in the shared garden of sitting with my neighbors in the shared sauna, I sit in the shared sauna.
But after the shared sauna, you need to cool down in the garden.
I cool down in the shared pool.
Which is inside the garden?
Which is inside the garden, yeah.
Okay. Voila. But the second big part, like we talked about the social benefits. Like I actually did some research again, like looking up the research again, and a lot of investigation has been done on this urban farming, this shared urban farming gardens and vegetables. And the biggest part of the benefits that are gained from these projects are never the food. It's like one of the lowest reasons why people do social vegetable gardens is like, oh, we're not really doing it for the food. It's a good extra, but it's more for the social connection, for the biodiversity, the prettiness. Like the permaculture thing, like if there would be a lot of permaculture projects or just vegetable gardens, the biodiversity just like explodes in the area. But before there was maybe just grass or just like a couple of trees. But because of vegetable gardens, you get an explosion of biodiversity.
Yeah.
And the last ecological benefit of the open air gardening, but also you could do it in the closed environment also, is the buffer. The buffer of temperature.
Yeah.
In summertime, it's way cooler. In wintertime, you have much less heat loss, especially on windy days. But I think I have a quiz question of that later.
Okay.
And the last one is, and maybe even more important, since this year, we had so many storms and so many floodings. With urban farming, you buffer the stormwater.
Yeah. So the biggest gain for people is the social impact it has on their life. That you said.
It depends on the project.
Yeah.
But that's one of the main reasons. Not all of the reason, but a lot of people that want social connection get it via the urban farming roofs.
Okay.
Roofs, not necessarily roofs, just shared gardens, shared parks.
And are there studies about the sustainability of, because it's I know working together is really great and can give you, but it's sometimes also you have the not so nice jobs. And I've seen some collectives working together, and you have like the first 3 years. It's like the honeymoon years. It's really great, and everything is flow, and it goes around. We have a nice campfire, and we are friends. And then who's doing the dishes? Who's going to use the really noisy tool we need to use to in our project, the biggest problem was who's gonna mow the lawn. We have like a natural garden. It's 12,000 square meter, so that's quite big, but nobody wanted to mow the lawn. So we outsourced it, but we paid for it. Yeah.
Not to one of the kids who needed some extra money.
No, because the problem was that they would mow the lawn on a Saturday, and then we had a whole Saturday.
It's a big lawn.
Yeah. So we do it on Wednesday, on Tuesday, and then somebody like a social project is doing it for us. Okay. And I can expect that in after the honeymoon years of a collective working together, you also have to find a solution on the hard stuff.
Yeah. This is basically the sustainability of that project. Yeah. I completely agree. And I think lots of projects have died already because of that. I've seen some projects die, but lots of projects also have found solutions. Yeah. And I think to really establish this kind of social project, urban farming, there will need to be found some solutions. That was a bad sentence, but solutions need to be found.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot of the times it's about scale and about money also. Yeah. Like having surplus that you can pay someone who is doing the dishes, or making a really good personal gain.
Yeah. Yeah, and the food is not
enough.
In our project, we started the project with a subsidy from the city of Ghent, 1,500 euros. We could buy all the materials, all the soil, all the crates. Yeah. It's there now. But in time, the equipment we're buying or the plants, we're going to have to pay for that ourselves. Yeah. Or the reparations. And already some voices from the beginning, they were like, do we need to pay to be part of this and this and that? And that's going to be a question we will have to answer in our shared community garden. Like, in 3 years after the honeymoon phase, how will we keep on continuing this? Yeah. And I think then that's a very important phase where you then have to professionalize this code thing and really establish it for the next 10 years to go. Yeah. I think it's a really important point here.
Yeah.
Because it's not a business, but at the same time, kind of have to approach it like it's a small business.
Yeah. It's like the norming phase, it's called in team development.
The norming phase.
Yeah, like you have the forming phase, and then you have the storming, like we're doing the thing, and it's really enthusiastic. But then you have to make a lot of rules and systems to make it keep work, and contracts. So like you're in the norming phase because you gave me a contract.
Yeah.
So that's really good.
Oh, good, yeah.
And the next phase is the performing phase. That's the phase where you get the real flow, not the enthusiastic, flow. Sometimes a little bit without boundaries flow from the honeymoon phase. Yeah. Because a lot of people after 3 years get in a kind of burnout. They gave too much and didn't get enough in return.
It happens so much. Even in normal businesses and startups.
Of course.
Oof, I've actually dealt with that a lot of times.
Yeah, maybe you need a consultant next time for your business model. Yeah.
One place to go, strategies. And You also work internationally. For example, if the Dubai person who wants to build a skyscraper needs some good consulting.
Yes, we are doing internationalization in 2024. We're working towards that in our strategy. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, of course. You cannot, because our baseline is just like strategies and leaders to change the world. You cannot do that between Ostend and Hasselt. It's my aim, and I'm quite convinced we're gonna succeed. That we'll end the norming phase of our company around in 2023. Now we have a scalable model in 2024 to go first to the Netherlands, and we're already like Brussels and the Walloon area, but I want to go to Seattle.
Yeah. All right, Seattle. Why Seattle?
I don't know. I think things are going to happen in Seattle. No, I actually know, because we need to go where the power is, and we are the power in the world is. So we looking at maps where is the biggest power circles, and we will challenge them with mission-driven companies, but also we support a lot of movements and movement organizations. And in Seattle, it's the hometown of Amazon.
Oh, okay.
So like the biggest, one of the biggest companies in the world. And I think we have to challenge that. Yeah, we will do that.
And how will you also reach the powerhouses in East Asia?
Yeah, we need to go to East Asia also. So yeah.
Oh, big plans for strategies and leaders.
Yeah, that's before I'm 50, I want to be on every continent.
Impressive. Yeah. How old are you now?
42. So I have 8 years. Yeah. So, yeah.
It's going to happen in 7. 7 is the golden number. The magic number. Yeah. Okay, awesome.
And then I'm going to be a singer. Then I'm going to quit and everything, and then I'm going to be a singer. No, it's not true.
Yeah. Yeah, why not? Singer?
Yeah.
Okay, we have talked a bit about the why of urban farming.
Yeah.
Do you like the why? Are you satisfied about the why?
No, yeah, a little bit, but I heard so much nice stories because I only work with visionaries and with people who want to have social and ecological impact, and so it's a good answer, but. In my life, I decided that I only want to work with people who can make have really an impact. So my first question is that what is the potential and the disruptive potential of urban farming? Are they real solutions, or the real solutions? And can you show me the numbers? So how many projects do we need in a city as Ghent or Brussels? How many projects, how many square meters, how many do we need to have real impact? And you told me about real impact is, of course, I think how many food can we produce that is not inside a city, but also how many projects do we need to really have a lowering of the temperature in a city, or have a real exchange and social connection between people. So are there in the world studies, or are there numbers who have an answer on this? Or maybe there is also like somewhere on this earth a city who is 10 years in front. Does it exist? I don't know. So show me the numbers that we can have really impact, because otherwise it's only an Instagram nice thing. I think.
There's a couple of things I have to say about this.
Yeah.
But the first one is already to say it's hard to quantify.
Yeah.
Because of the diversity of urban farming. You have the high-tech vertical farms. Yeah. If you give them, like, okay, we need to feed Brussels, that's 1 million people.
But you know, when I'm like an investor, I don't like your answer. Eh?
You're not an investor, right?
Maybe I am. Maybe I made like a few million with some crypto, and I'm like, no, you have to. I think that is not a good answer. So,
okay, well, this is not
hard to quantify. Yes, of course.
I'm not for easy answers.
Yeah.
Because I'm talking about a movement, and if you talk about individual companies, like if you talk to a vertical farming company, they will say, okay, we need this amount of vertical farms to produce this amount of food. Simple.
Okay.
But if you then go to the less professional urban farming, then it's very hard to quantify. And because they have different kind of benefits than professional urban farming, then it starts really hard to be quantified. And then you have the second part. The output of urban farming is not necessarily food. Mm-hmm. Like I said, the research showed that for social projects, the food is really like one of the last benefits that people care about.
Okay. Yeah.
But then when it comes to a business of growing food, then of course you need to sell that food, you need to make money. But you already see in urban farming that a lot of the farms, definitely the pioneering farms, they didn't get all their money from the production of food.
Yeah.
It's about tours, education, workshops. That's how they kind of overcame their first years. But the really professional urban farms, they scaled up and they go full food production. But that takes time, obviously. And
of course, but it doesn't have to be about the numbers. Don't have to be about the food. But it can also be about the other impact that you of the real impact you want to make. Like I do a lot of impact strategy exercises and also impact measurement. It's really difficult, I know, to quantify, but you can try. You can find key indicators. Like if loneliness in a city is something, or in a neighborhood something that you fight, we know how lonely people are. Eh? We know that, and what happens when you do an intervention in this. We can measure that. So I think I want to challenge you in the next 3 episodes or the next seasons. That was 3 seasons we're gonna make.
No. This is the 3rd season.
Okay.
This season we're gonna.
Okay, this season I want to challenge you to find some examples who made really impact and can show it.
Yeah.
Not only do the storytelling, but also show me the numbers.
Yeah. Okay, if there's anybody at home also listening to this and has numbers, send them, please.
Yeah.
But I am actually going to talk to some researchers, like for example, researchers from EFUA, European Forum for Urban Agriculture, which is subsidized by the European Commission, to actually research what urban farming does. And I have actually talked to them before I came here, like, do you have some numbers so I can give it to Koenraad?
No, because it's hard to quantify.
No, they say, we're in the process of doing this. But in the next years, we're going to have much more numbers. There's already a lot of scientific research, but it's mostly like, it's not quantified that much. It's more like, these are the benefits. And they have some multivariate analysis, some... Okay, I'm just
No, we lost everyone in the podcast.
But I didn't look specifically at the statistics of this research. I should have done that. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
I failed you.
The thing I want to say is that if for a visionary who's like into visionary strategy and puts his heart out for making a change, it's also really important to know that it's possible to have real impact, because otherwise you come back and fight. And a lot of them come to me and sit in one of my chairs to talk and say, like, Koen, I've devoted 10 years of my life into mushrooms or something else, and I thought it was possible to change things with that. And in the end, I learned that it's not possible with that. I should have done other stuff. So maybe as a visionary, I want to challenge you to really make your grand strategy also realistic, so that you can say in 10 years, hey, Koen, I changed something and I'm really happy about it.
Yeah. Well, now the strategy is to talk about it, make podcasts, video podcasts, promote it via social media. But then, of course, not just because it's pretty and because it's nice, because urban farming really makes you popular. I have felt it.
So
but
it gets you late.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
So that's all your cool farm.
Yeah. But that's only with specific people. There's also people that roll their eyes when they say, "Oh, you're into urban farming."
Yeah.
But
okay.
You know,
you lose some, you win some. Yeah.
That's true. But yeah. So these numbers, we're going to work on those numbers.
Okay.
But I did find one number, and it's estimated that the world's food supply, 15% comes from urban farming. So that's today. But I think that's the wide definition of
in India, farming. Probably.
In India, not necessarily.
No,
not that I know of. I didn't look at it. I didn't find
where.
Yeah, I found multiple articles. Then I went to the source, and it was from the Food and Agriculture Organization, the FAO. Okay. But I didn't find the specific numbers, and I was a bit too lazy to really dig in. But they say 15%, and that's a lot. I don't think it's India, because India is really highly urbanized, the cities. There's not a lot of space for urban farming.
No. Yeah. Okay.
But I think it's more like the urban and peri-urban areas.
Yeah.
There's a lot of... and also the smaller farms, which kind of like you have the city, and the city grew around those farms, and now those farms are all of a sudden urban farms. I think a lot is from there.
A few weeks ago, I had a dinner with a guy who's also into urban farming, and he told me that in history that we used to do a lot of urban farming. And I thought that maybe in areas in the world who didn't get as urbanized as we are in Belgium, that maybe a lot of urban farming still is going on in the cities. But I don't know, and you're going to find the answer.
Yes, sir. Homework.
Yeah.
Okay, before we go into well, there's some more things we have to talk about urban farming, and then to ask your advice on the strategy.
Okay.
But the first, it's quiz intermezzo. We need a jingle for the quiz.
We need a jingle, yeah. So did I tell you already that I'm also a singer? I can, for €500, I can make you a jingle, huh? Maybe for $450.
Okay, we'll see. I will talk to Peter, the sound engineer, about this.
Yeah.
Okay, quiz intermezzo 3, the benefits of urban farming. So, how much cooler, and this is only a green roof. A green roof is not necessarily food production.
Oh, yeah.
But how much cooler is a green roof compared to a normal roof? Is it option 1, less than 1 degree? Is it option 2, between 1 and 3 degrees? Or is it option 3, more than 3 degrees?
More than 3 degrees.
More than 3 degrees difference.
Yeah. It's a guess. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. What's your best guess?
I think it's more than 3.
More than 3.
Yeah.
That's your answer.
Yeah.
It is the correct answer.
Yeah.
And depending on the source you're looking at, some say 3 degrees, some say 11 degrees. Like I have a roof, like a flat roof above the kitchen, black and to the south. And in summertime, I cannot walk on that roof. I already asked my landlord, can you please make a green roof there so we can actually walk on there?
Yeah.
'Cause, like when I walk on the roof, I'm like,
And it's not what's the English word for moss?
peat, I think. No,
Like the green stuff.
is what comes after.
No, you don't know.
I think it's also moss.
Moss. All the people in Dubai are now thinking moss. What's moss? Yeah, so moss. I worked on a strategy to put like moss on.
Do we need to describe moss?
Moss is like the green stuff. The green stuff in that grows on a tree.
Yeah,
On the shadow side.
or also on rocks and stuff. It's like it's like grass, but it's not grass, and it's like a carpet. It's very fluffy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's moss.
Moss.
We think. Yeah. So the moss I actually was a business model. They like they get moss in West Vlaanderen from the roofs because people don't like moss on their roofs there, and we put it on in Ghent on the roofs because people like moss there on the roofs because it's isolation and it's good for the climate and it's good to have between your solar panels because then you have more production. It's like 10% more production and you're cooling down. And so that's why I knew there's a big gain. A rooftop has a green roof has a big gain. Yeah.
And it's only like you have this. They're called extensive green roofs.
Yeah.
So they're very thin layer, but when you have the intensive ones and the urban farms, you get
with salad.
gains are so much more.
Yeah.
And it's actually like even in wintertime, that's especially important for Belgium. With a green roof, you get the 25% reduction in energy costs.
Yeah.
And when it's windy, which is also sometimes here, you get 50% reduction.
Yeah.
Those are crazy gains, right?
Yes. So why is not everybody getting a green roof?
Because it's expensive.
Because it's expensive. Then we have welcome to capitalism. Yeah. Because we like it cheap. Yeah. No, it's true that I have like a really ecological house, and my life changed when I moved into it. Because we have, I think, like everything that a person has to have an ecological house, like how do you call it, a heat exchanger, and it's really expensive, but my health gains are going through the roof.
Really?
Yeah, I have no allergies anymore. Actually, today a little bit, but normally I don't have allergies anymore. Was fantastic. Yeah, I never knew that my housing before was so bad and having so much of a bad influence on my health. Yeah, so you need a green roof as a big first step. Yeah.
Well, that's what urban farming does also.
Yeah.
And green roofs, not necessarily urban farming, but they bring a lot of health, and we need to invest in the health of our people.
Yes.
So this brings us to the next hard question. Right?
I prepared it.
Yes, you prepared hard questions for me.
Why is there no big breakthrough? No big breakthrough, because I've met you. I don't know if you remember, but I've met you 3 or 4 years ago with the mushrooms, and I've seen the rooftop people also here in Ghent. How do they call it? Are they called
roof food?
Roof food. Yeah, roof food. But for me as an entrepreneur, so I'm like an activist and I'm an entrepreneur. I also look to the market. Is this a blue market? Is this a blue ocean? Is this only for the innovators? And is this growing? So is this a growing market, or is it something nice people do to? And when will there be a breakthrough?
Well, I have two things to say. And the second thing is, what do you mean with breakthrough? But the first one is, there has been great evolution in the past 10 years, 9 to 10 years. When I started getting into the industry, I saw 5 companies worldwide doing vertical farming, rooftop farming.
Yeah.
5 of them. Like, there were probably a little bit more, but there were around 5. And then I got involved in the Association for Vertical Farming, and we could still manage kind of the amount of new companies that came into the scene.
Mm-hmm.
But by now, you cannot count them anymore. There's so many. And there's, like, every big city has a lot of urban farms, a lot of vertical farms. Brussels is, for example, like one of those cities. They have so many projects.
Mm-hmm.
They have like the urban gardening and the social projects, but also a lot of professional farms.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one of the big sites in Brussels is the abattoir site.
Yeah. No.
In Anderlecht, they have 3 urban farms in 1 square kilometers. A big mushroom farm, a big rooftop aquaponics farm, and vertical harvest too. Who has a real indoor vertical farm, controlled environment agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's growing, and it's still growing. Like, if you all look at the industry market analysis of all the investor companies, it's like, oh, the industry has been growing in the past years from this million to this couple of 100 millions or even billions, and it's estimated to grow another 50% every year. This kind of So a lot of money has been flowing in, especially into the indoor farming scene, and this indoor farming industry. A lot of money has been flowing in, but you can say the same about social projects. Like 10 years ago in Ghent, how many shared community gardens were there? Not much. You had, I was part of the dog garden. That was one of the first. And you have the Tondeliersite, which is, unfortunately, it was only temporary. But this has inspired so many people to do it too. Now, we have one in front of my house and one 3 streets further.
Yeah.
And that's only in a very small area. So there has been a great expansion. But so what do you mean with big breakthrough? What do you need?
I'll explain. One of my first jobs is that I was working for the organizations who organize agricultural farming. Yeah, it was more than 20 years ago. And we organized like a promotional week on it. And I think at that point, it was like 3% of the whole of the land was used for agricultural, for organic farming.
Yeah.
And a few months ago, I looked again how the evolution was, and I think it grew in a few percent. And of course, 95% of all land is used on a bad way. Yeah? So that's not a breakthrough.
Traditional farming.
Traditional farming, but a lot of industrial farming. Yeah. A lot of monoculture. I don't know a lot of farming, but at that point in my life, I learned a lot. I forgot most of it. But if I think I'm not happy in my life, if I can say like in 20 years, I made an evolution from 1 or 2 or 3% to 5%, because then we have so much challenges in society that we need breakthroughs. We need disruptive breakthroughs.
Yeah. And you think those breakthroughs come from technology, or because in my view, these breakthroughs are going to happen culturally, so they have an influence on political regulations.
Yeah. It's always a combination of you have to have alternatives. That's so. I think urban farming is an alternative. That's one thing, and then you have to have also a movement, but a movement who is not only about the alternative, but is also about fighting an enemy. And who's the enemy of urban farming? I don't know.
I thought about the question, and I don't like the question because I like to be holding hands in hands with everybody.
Me too.
Kumbaya. Yeah. But the enemy, we already talked about the enemy, and it's cheap buildings, for example, cheap everything.
Yeah.
Is that capitalism the enemy? No, I would say it's a system in which we don't incorporate the health, the ecological and the social benefits of certain things. So we need kind of those things to be rewarded. We need the biodiversity. We need the ecological, the social things. We need that to be rewarded. Do we need to destroy capitalism? I think there's capitalism where those things are rewarded too.
Yeah, but there's always someone or some company who's getting rich or getting gains and not changing things. And if you do new stuff like urban farming in the beginning, say, "Oh, nice, you're not a threat to," but by identifying an enemy who has a lot of power on tradition and has the power to stop change, by confronting him or her or the company behind him or her, you that kind of movement. You also need to have disruptive change. I'll give you an example. You have like the movement for sustainability. Of course, that's great, and but in the Netherlands, they also have like movements like Stop Shell. That's really confronting Shell. Shell, one of the biggest oil companies and polluters in the world. Stop Shell, put Shell down, confronting an organization and having different tactics to stop them. If you make the combination of an alternative and a movement, also attacking on a nice way, but attacking someone or a company with power, then you can have disruptive change.
So we need a common enemy. It's also a question to everybody and at home. What's our enemy?
Problem is that all the good people doing the good stuff, like making new solutions for a better world and stuff, they most of them, 90%, they don't like the question of who's the enemy, because they are like very open-hearted people, very loving people.
Don't like confrontation.
And one of the my main. I think my main value in strategy thinking with a lot of the organizations is that they say, but we have to grow the alternative, but we have also to confront the old ways and the old powers.
That's true, because those old powers are keeping the traditional farming in place, industrial farming in place. Those traditional powers keep legislation from like, we need all the rooftops to be covered in solar panels or green roofs.
Yeah.
But an extra thing. Did you know that solar panels work better if the roof on which they stand are green roofs?
Yes, I knew, because of the moss.
Yeah, because of the moss. That's an interesting fact. Like, and who are the enemies? The people who want to keep the status quo in this occasion, I would say.
I think that I think the urban farming thing is not really a threat. So, but if you grow the model and you get if you grow the model like 1 or 2 or 3% in a city is produced like that, then it will become really clear who is trying to stop you.
Yeah.
And then it's the good moment to have a confrontation. Yeah.
Maybe it's a good question to everybody at home. Is like, who have you confronted? Who is against you?
Yeah.
Because in my experience, not many people. Yeah. Like I have had confrontation with organic farmers.
Yeah.
Especially when I was into vertical farming. Mm-hmm. This is not natural. I'm like, come on, we can do biomimicry and create ecosystem. That's like, I always find solutions. I don't say you're wrong and I'm right. I'm saying like, valid points. Mm-hmm. And this is how we can overcome those. So I'm not confrontation averse. I'm more like, let's find solutions together.
We should look at the Boerenbond.
The Boerenbond. One of the next people who's going to be on the podcast is from the Boerenbond.
Okay.
She's doing the urban vertical farming network in Belgium. Nila Loors, and
I think I know her.
Yeah. And she has great vision also for urban and vertical farming. So the Boerenbond is not against it. They're more like, what's this about?
Can we have this?
Can we use this for? Yeah, but I think the Boerenbond like the Belgian farmer organizations, the Flemish farming organizations for people in Dubai. They have all the ways of farming. They're like that. It's a very diverse organization, and it's so easy to be against the Boerenbond.
It's also a multi-billion company making a lot of the farmers really dependent. They're actually a bank also. They are a bank for farmers. So
and they have investments in a lot of companies in the traditional
so
industrial farming space.
I think the urban farming is really a nice extra now. But if you try to put the other businesses down, you will see the real power. And I've seen this in my life a few times. If you really confront the real power, what happens then it's really scary.
So if as the urban farming movement you start saying like we want to work together with rural farmers, but not if it's industrial farmers, then you will start getting problems and an enemy. That's kind of, If we as an urban farming movement say, we work with the organic farmers and the permaculture farmers, the agroforestry farmers,
and it's good marketing.
If you have an enemy,
that's the secret. Fair trade chocolate. The fair trade chocolate, the Oxfam and stuff. They have chocolate, and they have like a chocolate bar, and it's called Bite to Fight for Fair Trade. You see, it's bite for for something, not against something, to fight for fair trade. Do you know Tony Chocolonis? Yes, everybody's buying what's their value proposition?
Because the chocolate is unequal blocks to show the inequality in the chocolate trade, something like that.
Yeah, they are against inequality, against slavery. And that my children, they know if they eat, and they eat a lot of it, Tony's Chocolonis, that they fight against slavery. And the enemy here is like the other companies. The other companies who use cacao that's produced by child slavery. And that's really good marketing. And it's one of the main, because in their marketing, putting an enemy in front is more, I think, motivating to buy the stuff than saying like, let's be in favor of something.
I think, I'm
not convinced.
Like, I'm not convinced about the enemy thing, because I think it leads to a lot of, if you take it to the extreme, you get nationalism, for example, and you get like the fight between the US and China, which benefits nobody. It's like, the Chinese are bad. Oh no, the Americans are bad. And
there's a technique I use, and it's called democratic polarization. So you can have like an enemy, but you are really nice to the people of the enemy people, but you are really confronting in the inhoud, the really confronting and in the content and putting your stand. So it's really being really hard on a subject, but really loving your enemy also.
I like to, maybe the way I work is my enemy is the past.
Okay,
my enemy is like where we are right now, or where we come from. It's like, how can we beat that? How can we be better? And for me, urban farming is like, how can we make our cities better? The enemy is the old ways of building cities. There's a stupid way of building cities. It's to make them in heat islands, or like let the water drain super fast into the sewage systems and then overflood it, and then have floods downriver also. And so, is that a good enemy too? Like the past?
I think no, because the enemy, you cannot change anything about the past, but I think in your
you change the past by changing the future.
No, that's a slogan. I think you should think about the big building companies in Belgium, the project owners who are doing the urbanization I know a lot of them, and I've worked with some of them. They are really powerful, and they are actually dictating how we are building our cities. They are like the. I'm not not gonna name you some names, but there are really some people in Belgium who are really powerful and deciding how we are building our cities.
Yeah, that's true. And as the last thing I want to add to the common enemy and the breakthrough thing, I think it's also a decision we have to make as the whole movement. What do we want to change? I would change everything.
Okay.
Maybe we need to. I need to make choices on, do we want to focus on biodiversity, heat island effect, waste treatment, for example. All can be done, of course, with urban farming. But it's a choice we have to make on an individual level with individual organizations and companies, but also as the movement. Or maybe we can make something cyclic.
I think it's the difference between grand strategy of a movement can have like different topics and say we're going to fight different problems but if you're a company inside it, I see a lot of visionary and idealistic entrepreneurs making that kind of mistake, that they don't make a business model that's focusing on one or two social or environmental solutions, and they wanted to have a solution for all of the problem, for everything. Like in the co-housing sector, also people wanted it has to be sustainable, affordable for everybody. It has to be inclusive. It has to be really near a city. So those people, they don't live in a co-housing because there is no co-housing who has all the benefits of that. So you have to choose one or two.
But at the same time, the holistic approach is kind of the solution for many things. So focusing on one thing is what actually also created the problems that we are in now. And if we want to have, and that's what bothers me a bit about this whole, like, you start an urban farm and you want to be a solution for everything, but you have to focus on only one or two things that you can solve. It's hard because
but you have time, and that's.
What do you mean you have time?
You have time. You can focus. I think in the first 3 or 4 years, focus is everything, and making a good business model, making profit, making it scalable. So that's really important. And if you get, I'm again at this point in my life, so I can have surplus now, so I can say, let's take a second problem, and we're gonna also tackle that. But so scaling means scaling also in the possibilities of solving complex problems. But as a very small organization or company trying to tackling, you have to take one problem and first scale it.
And then you need allies, right? Because if you tackle one problem, there's 10 other organizations that possibly tackle 10 other problems.
You have to work together.
And then you have to, organize that too. That's what the network organizations I was part of tried to do, like unite these different players who tackle different problems and are all part of the solution, basically.
And have smart alliances. And I see in alliances sometimes that you have like the discussions, I'm the really good company and you're only focusing on one problem and you're not good enough. And so there's like, you can work together and push each other to a non-sustainable business model, trying to tackle everything, or you can acknowledge everybody's effort and say, okay, let's work together and strengthen everybody in a movement or everybody in an ecosystem of companies. So I think in smart alliances, it's really important to not criticize each other.
Yeah.
and support each other.
Not
And-
criticizing is so hard.
Yeah,
Especially in Belgium. Flanders is like the...
It's like all the doing people doing good stuff. They have to focus on what's wrong, and in another business, no, just focus on what's right. Say you're good, doing really great stuff.
I'm guilty of this too myself. I have...
So I'll end up with giving you positive feedback then.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've in my life I've like always been like, oh, you do this, but is it enough? You know, this kind of, and it's not a...
Should talk with your therapist then.
Yes, I have talked about this so many times.
It's something about with the father relation probably.
Exactly. But maybe this is not for this podcast.
Maybe is he listening?
Well, there's other podcasts from Ghent. It's Bespreekbaar, something like that.
I don't know.
They talk about how we should talk about mental health.
Okay.
And I think everybody should go to a therapist. But that said, that's
It's kind of like make a group purchase of therapists.
I think therapy should be like going to the dentist. Like your brain needs some looking after.
I'm doing group therapy. That's great.
You do that?
Yeah.
Like in the movies, like
you
have these circles and
18 guys.
18 guys. So it's
great. It's really true. It's true. It's fantastic. I have it's like a circle. We come every month. We come together. We pay someone who is like our leader, who are organizing everything. Yeah, it's maybe it's not a podcast, but
you also do hugging and
hugging. We do like everything you think. Don't do it. We're gonna do the 2 days in a sweat hut.
Sweat lodge.
Sweat lodge. Yeah, two days the whole time. Not a sauna, but gewoon it's like 2 days with some rituals and
oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I've kind of avoided those.
It's really scary also. Really scary.
Because it's scary.
Yeah.
Like my masculinity. Really? Like, do I have to be vulnerable with other guys? You know?
Yeah, yes, you have to be vulnerable.
Yeah, it's a bit like in the... I guess like I'm a big fan of Band of Brothers, for example. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, in wartime you create this inseparable bond because you're like your life is on the line. You break sometimes, and then you create this bond with other guys. We don't have that much, and I'm not part of it.
We need more war.
We need more. We need more enemies in urban farming. We need to fight together.
Yeah. No, there's a growing movement also of really strong men having places where they can be vulnerable.
Vulnerable.
Thank you. Yeah.
Vulnerable.
Yeah.
So maybe we can be vulnerable on an urban farm. Have you thought about that? There's a lot of yoga on the urban farms. So like rooftop farms. That's the yoga on the rooftop.
That's a stereotype. So you have a lot of yoga people, urban farms. Maybe I don't want to be in this podcast.
Yeah, I mean, even like it's is it Gotham Greens or is another? No, it's Brooklyn Grange. I think it's one of the first big urban farms, rooftop farms, and they have weddings on their farms.
And Tai Chi,
probably. Yeah, probably. You can do everything on an urban farm rooftop.
But if we need a breakthrough, if we want a breakthrough, we have to get like from the innovators also to the early adopters, and maybe that's also a good question. Maybe how can we get out of the alternative? It looks alternative, and the people look alternative, and how can we convince my parents? That's it, to do this kind of thing.
They can play petanque.
Maybe.
There's definitely one rooftop farm out there with a petanque, or with a badminton. Or badminton is maybe not old people. What do old people do? They just
don't know.
Leisurely walks.
They walk a lot,
and if they like to watch too. And from a rooftop farm, you have an amazing view on a lot of people.
Yeah.
So that.
Yeah.
And they never see because most people don't look up in the streets.
Yeah.
I look up a lot because I look like, is this a possible rooftop farm? Is this a possible rooftop? Oh, there's actually a garden there. Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
But the time has come for Quiz Intermezzo 4.
Okay, did-dum.
Can you please make the jingle?
No. First pay me.
Okay. Can I pay you in lettuce?
Okay.
Okay.
I only eat meat.
I will get you one of the goats of my rooftop farm.
I've so like it's the project with the pig, aardvark. Yeah, is it still on?
Was it the Gentian one?
I don't know.
Spelvarken.
Spilvarken. That kind. Yeah.
It's not on. Maybe it's like Spelvarken started with one project and then it kind of like went to multiple neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And I think still some of them are going.
I never saw a varken like that. I don't know where a pig in Belgium from that project is. No.
Well, they get cuddled and then they go to the slaughterhouse.
Okay.
And there's some beautiful stories about some vegan activists really like wanting, like there's so many horrible things in the world of slaughter.
Yeah.
And then they go to the pigs who have a good life and actually probably make more people vegetarian than they do.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're like, oh, I love this pig and why would I eat this pig? You know, This makes more people vegetarian than, you know.
Yeah.
This is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But anyway, Quiz Intermezzo 4. So we talked about the benefits of a green roof and stormwater mitigation.
Yep.
Very important. Now the question is like, how long does it take for the water of a green roof to reach the sewer? Like normally that's like a couple of minutes. Like rain drops, goes to the sewer immediately. With a green roof, how much less is it? Or how much more time does it take? Is it 20 minutes? Is it 3 hours? Or is it 1 day on average?
I'm gonna use my neuro-linguistic programming wizardness. I think it's the second one. Yeah.
Why?
3 hours. Yeah. It's only on your intonation.
Oh, really? Damn it. This time you're right. This time it's what are my tells? Like my voice is different.
I cannot tell. I signed a contract. That's true.
So yeah, it's the research says that green roofs. That's not even an urban farm. I think an urban farm is even longer.
Okay,
but they reduce the stormwater peaks with 65%. That's a lot.
Okay,
and that could really mitigate some of the problems.
Yeah,
with a lot of rain.
Yeah,
and then if you combine that, for example, with just like using rainwater to flush your toilet.
Yeah.
If every apartment or rooftop or house would have that would already be such an improvement. If every roof
taking a shower. I've taken a shower with rainwater yesterday. Yeah.
Your co-housing has rainwater, or was it a special place?
No, in the we have rainwater showers also. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. See, you're part of the future, Koenraad.
I know. Yeah.
But who is the enemy of rainwater usage for showering?
I think it's the technical companies who are building who are building houses. It's more difficult, I think, to have good good water to use it also in your shower. I don't know. I'm not a technical guy,
because this doesn't really have it's hard to define an enemy with using rainwater.
Yeah. Okay. No.
So I'm just trying to make it hard on you.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
You make it hard on me.
Didn't work, but
I make it hard on you.
It's all about it. It's all about making it some. I just told Kumbaya we have to work together.
Yeah, it's a good balance between fighting an enemy and at the same time working together.
Okay.
I think it's time to go to the final question.
The final question.
Anna, you actually have still one important question.
I have one?
The final question is mine, but you have still one.
Oh, yeah, okay.
One important one.
I'm gonna ask another question because you prepared this one.
Shit.
So, can you tell me something about the biggest success in urban farming and the scale of it? And what did they do? Maybe you cannot, then you can ask them. What did they do to scale the project? What is the biggest project? What is like the Freiburg of the what's the who is like the leading company in this? The leading persons.
Can I give you two answers?
Yeah.
Like one of them is a real farm, and the other one is more like because lots of the money flows into the industry, especially the controlled environment agriculture industry, flows in there because they and big investors invest in the technology.
Yeah.
So there's some companies really like they received millions of investments to scale up their.
Yeah.
Aero Farms is one of them. That's Newark. New Jersey. New Jersey-based company, and they're expanding rapidly.
Yeah.
And I don't actually know if that company is economically sustainable already, but they have already got so much investment.
Yeah. Normally, if they got so much investment, they have a plan.
And they have a plan
to become really sustainable.
Yeah. They got millions. We have also one company in Belgium here, Urban Crop Solutions.
Okay.
They also one of the better technology providers in indoor farming. One of their farms is in Antwerp, Plant. Well, Plant is using the technology of Urban Crop Solutions.
Okay.
Big shout out to Plant. Good job, guys.
So I hear that it's technology-based solutions that are scaling.
Yeah. But the other farm I want to talk about is it's one of the farms I interviewed in my early days of the 12 Steps to Farming. And when we were doing the interview, they were still in the basement and like this very tiny farm.
Yeah.
Still relying on subsidies of the Brussels government.
Yeah.
And now we are, I think, 5 years later. They are in the basement of the abattoir, expanding rapidly every year. They like built this bigger farm there, which was economically sustainable. Okay. Now they're doubling the size.
What are they producing?
Mushrooms.
I thought so, yeah.
Le Champion de Bruxelles.
Yeah.
It's like I'm a big fan of those guys, of what they do, because they also walk the talk. They are reducing waste. So they're using waste from brewery to grow mushrooms on. Not all of their mushrooms are on the waste yet, but they are tackling that problem. They have their own production facility. And I'm really, really impressed by how well they have expanded.
Yeah. So if I'm right, you didn't succeed in that.
I didn't succeed.
Yeah. So what do they different?
What did they do different? Well, I have made a podcast. It's in Dutch, but I have written articles about how we failed as Pot and Still.
Yeah, but let's talk about their success. They're doing something right that you didn't do.
They for sure. Well, first of all, they started with subsidies, so they had more air to breathe.
Yeah, okay.
We didn't have any subsidies.
Yeah.
We actually got a subsidy, but then we actually already decided to quit.
Okay.
I think they took their time much more than we did. They expanded slowly but steadily.
Yeah.
And they had a very good team. I think the team was very good.
Yeah.
We had a lot of troubles inside our own team.
Yeah.
Which, if you fight all the time, you can fight. But if you fight all the time, then you lose more energy inside than actually solving the problems you have. And that was...
I think that is thank you for the answer, because that is one of the answers for a lot of scaling of social solutions, because you need the right people.
Yeah.
And on 3 levels, I think you need the right people. You need the right people. They have to be involved in the solution. So they have to also have a vision and stuff. But that's not so difficult. You have a lot of people today compared to 10 years ago or 20 years ago who want to change stuff. But you also need experience. Yeah. If you start a company, do it together with someone who already did it one time, maybe 2 times. You need that experience. And third, and that's the biggest problem, I think, you need people who are emotional on a kind of level.
Mature,
maturity, we call it self-autonomous. So They have to be in control of themselves. So sometimes I get really angry, and 15 years ago I could punch through a wall then.
Yeah.
Now, when I get angry, I know how to handle it myself and stuff. And if you are in a team and you have really visionary people, but who are not mature enough to be owner of a company, and it can get really ugly. And most of the startups and the mission-driven startups have problems because of this.
Yeah. That's why I'm also a big fan of the therapy part of the discussion we had.
Yeah.
Like that therapy really helped me.
Yeah.
Like part of the problem was me, but part of the problem were
of course,
other people.
Yeah.
How to handle anger, how to handle each other.
Set boundaries. Yeah.
Set boundaries, yeah. And sometimes just like it's not a match. And if it's not a match.
Yeah.
And then turn it back. Yeah. But sometimes it's impossible. Right?
Yeah.
And you're already so far.
Yeah.
That ditching or doing a Facebook or something. Or
Yeah.
I don't know. It's but that was a failing project. But there's projects who are really like scaling up, and there's, I believe, like organizations like Plant or Le Champion de Bruxelles. Yeah. They can really like go to multiple cities and expand urban farming, vertical farming. You have it's also a Brussels project. It's Peace and Love, Peace and Love, I think, which has a type of business around the social gardening. They have like somebody working in the social garden, making it nice, but the people own their own plot and can go and harvest there. And Peace and Love is also one of those. They already have 3 urban farms, for example. So that's a business model that's definitely scalable. You just need I think those are 3 companies that really have a lot of potential.
Okay, and I hear you that when you're saying that, if I summarize, access to money and on the long term, so also having a sustainable financial business model, but also having access to good people and a good team. That's the 2 main, I think, things you have to have before you start and sign a contract and start a business. Yeah.
And also a big one is infrastructure.
Of course.
Like for the scaling up, we need, if we want all the roofs to be green.
Yeah, you need a lot of roofs.
and better infrastructure, because a lot of roofs cannot handle a green roof. Let's not even an urban farm is even heavier, of course.
Yeah.
So new buildings need like forest urban farms.
Okay.
And then if you have more of that infrastructure, you get more ability to scale up those businesses, because now it's really hard to find a good spot.
Okay. Yeah.
Like for example, Roof Food here in Ghent, they started with the punt. They built that roof and they needed somebody to use that.
They already built it with the perspective of a roof. Of a roof garden.
Yeah. And then the person, Sabine, came in and he said, okay, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And then they did it.
That's more easy.
Unfortunately, Roof Food stopped.
Why?
Recently. Yeah, because of the business model. It was hard. They did a lot of experimenting.
Yeah, they didn't have a good consultant, I think, then.
Maybe, I don't know. I think there's more factors playing.
Of course.
And in my opinion, they had a good business model because they were doing catering.
Yeah.
And the rooftop farm was more like the marketing.
Yeah,
and
I think food is still.
Yeah.
Food is the selling food is a really hard business model, and selling processed food. And so catering is really hard, I think, to get a living out of it.
But you do, like, they really had this really unique selling point. Like half of our food is coming from a roof.
Yeah.
And you immediately get the extra value from selling the food yourself. There's nothing in between. You use everything yourself.
Yeah.
Because
but food is so cheap in this society. That's the problem. I feel that people compare. Also,
not if you put extra value. Like I interviewed also a long time ago Cultivate the City from Washington.
Okay.
And Niraj is like the leader of that organization. He says like, add extra value.
Yeah.
Like if you have a pepper, make pepper sauce, and you can ask 5 times
Yeah.
the price of what you would get for the pepper, because you have the branding of the pepper. The pepper comes from an urban farm. It's from around the block, and people are willing to pay more for.
Yeah, that's true. That's
the
true.
hot sauce.
Yeah, from our roof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For example.
Yeah. Okay.
And those are the possibilities. I also saw that with pot and stool. People from the neighborhood, they were like, "Wow, a farm."
Yeah.
And it's like, it's in our neighborhood. Let's go and visit the farm and just buy 30 euros of mushrooms, which I would not do in a supermarket.
Yeah.
It's like, and that opens also a lot of possibilities for rural farmers.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Rural farmers with the connection to the city with the urban farmers. But maybe that's a conversation for another time. Maybe with Nele Lauwers from the Boerenbond next one.
Okay. Yeah.
Because she really looks at that.
Okay.
But my final question for you, Koenraad.
Yeah.
How should I go about this now in the next part of the season? Which question do I definitely have to focus on? And like, where do I have to find solutions for the whole of the movement? What do I need to focus on? What words do I need to spread all around the world?
Yeah.
How do I convince people in Dubai?
I think in this stage of a movement, it's really important to share, and you did that, to share lessons learned, and you can have a lot of podcasts on what is going well and stuff. So I think it would be nice to have a lot of people also who tried and failed and share their lessons. So not only on this, but I think we can learn the most as a movement. We can learn the most of people who failed and failed fast and failed forward and tried again. So I would invite that kind of people. And the biggest question I still have is about the numbers, and not the numbers of food, but also about what is the impact you want to have, and
socio-ecological services.
Yes, and is it really scalable at the level that we have real solutions on the problems you told me that urban farming is a solution to? Yes, I believe that on a academic level, but if we put it in practice, do we have enough roofs? How many years will it take to have the roofs we need to have the urban farming on the roofs to lower the temperature? So that kind of questions I would ask myself and have the answers to. Yeah. Because in a pitch, for an investor and for a social investor, that would be really great. And I think that makes a difference between a subsidy of a few €100,000 and a real investment. Yeah, and I think the sector can use this.
Yeah. Okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
Do you have any final advice before I embark upon this quest?
Final advice? No, I think it's great that I said I would give you positive feedback. So thank you for the coffee. It was really good. I had a great time. I think it's great also that you talk really openly about yourself, so that I had a nice time. That's maybe the.
Me too. It was very fun.
Why are you doing this?
Why am I doing this?
Yes.
Well, I told you the why of urban farming in the beginning, and I kind of rolled into it as my life's mission.
Okay, this is your life mission? Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. It's like this, when I finished my studies, like 2012, I was like, what am I going to do with my life?
Okay.
And then I started thinking, taking my time. And all of a sudden, I saw this big vision of this huge vertical farm, Burj Khalifa-like.
Okay.
But
so that's great. Most of the people in their life, they don't find a mission, and that's also okay. And so you found it.
Yeah.
And in my experience, some that can be also really heavy, because if you find your mission, yes, you also you have to have a meaningful life accomplishing your mission. And it can be really dark, and can be moments where you don't have the money, and it can be moments where you have a lot of responsibility. But I think if I would give you the advice to keep on trying.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great journey. And if you are really focused on it, you can also achieve your mission. So maybe we should catch up in 50 years or something, and then you tell me how you accomplished your mission.
On a big rooftop.
On a big rooftop, yeah.
An orchard rooftop. That's my dream. An orchard rooftop.
An orchard rooftop. Okay.
Yeah, like a beautiful garden, but an orchard.
Yeah.
With bananas.
Banana. Probably there will be a lot of banana trees in 50 years in Belgium because of the climate thing. So,
Yeah.
okay.
Maybe.
So that's, I'll put it in my agenda then.
Okay, 50 years,
80. No, 71. Yeah.
71.
Okay.
15th of December. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I'll be still alive. I don't know. I'll be a very old man.
No, and then we'll have technical solutions for that. We'll be like version 3.0 of you.
Okay.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, with life experience and just the silicon biological body, something like that. Yeah. Or maybe another kind
Maybe
of
not.
technology.
Maybe I don't think it. Maybe let's die.
Okay. In 50 years.
Yeah.
50 years.
Okay.
On the orchard rooftop.
See you then.
Okay. Thanks for this conversation, Koenraad. Thank you for listening to I Ask, Therefore I Am Season 3, How Are Urban Farmers Changing the World? Many people always ask me how they can support this video podcast. Those are the amazing people. And there are 3 possibilities for you, at least 3 possibilities. The first possibility is to just share this podcast or the many podcast promo videos via social media, via emails to your network. Like, this is an important podcast for you, dear friend. Or just word of mouth. Talk to your friends and family about this podcast. If you need something to talk about in a family dinner. Perfect. Second option is to just give your feedback in the comments or answer the quiz questions from the podcast in the social media comments, the YouTube comment, or just email the feedback to me at Zjef at IASktherefore.am. Zjef with a Z, ZJEF, that's my name. The third option is to become a part of the IATIA community, so the I Ask Therefore I Am community via Patreon. From €2 a piece, you can support this video podcast. You just go to www.patreon.com/ZjefVanAcker. Zjef with a Z, Van Acker with CK. So, dear friends, dear listeners, thank you again for listening to I Ask Therefore I Am. How are urban farmers changing the world? See you in the next episodes for more answers, and remember, keep on asking questions. Zjef out.